Welcome, everybody, to Conversations in Coruscant. This is a discussion, a conversation between people about Star Wars stuff, and it's brought to you by the Gamatube Network. I'm Alex Chelberg. With me, I have Joe Falcone.
What's up, Planet Earth?
And I have Edward Raleigh.
Hey, how you doing?
And the three of us are going to dissect this brand new giant Rogue One full plot leak. Now, I got my port in the storm, and I've never read or heard any of this plot leak. This is all new to me. So what you're going to hear is my first reaction. What's going to happen is Ed is going to read it off. Joe's going to give his first reaction to the different plot points. Then I'm going to give my reaction, and then Ed's going to give his reaction, and we'll go on to the next plot point. Rogue One right now is the biggest thing. There's so much debate. There's so many people lying. There's media and news lies going out there. People deceiving, trying to get clickbaiting, trying to get people to hate Rogue One, and for the pure point of getting their own agenda of getting 10,000 clicks on their stupid little article by. So there's a hysteria, and it's starting to calm down. I think people are starting to realize it's all bullshit. But through that, we have gotten what may be an actually valid full plot leak of Rogue One in the last 3 days. This whole thing has occurred. So let's jump right into it. Ed, start off.
Okay, before I get to the actual details, I would tell you real quick what happened for anyone who didn't know. Last night, I want to say maybe like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, apparently a Redditor calling himself Keep R1 Dark, which kind of sends up a red flag for me a little bit at first. But
An extremist.
Right, that's what I was thinking. But anyway, okay. He claimed to be involved in the making of Rogue One. Let's see. He says he's able to prove his credentials with the Reddit monitors, which is supposed to be cleared up today. So if he comes through with it later today, we should hear something.
But I'm not a Redditor. Can you tell me?
I'm not really either, but
they have different levels of verification of a post. Reddit is very good at that. That's what Reddit is known for, is that if someone claims something, that there's a system of checking that the statement or that the post was valid or could be from a real source. And does Joe, Ed, do you know anything about that process?
I don't know anything about the actual verification process. The only thing I understand about Reddit is these people, once they're verified or even before or whatever, they I guess you ask them questions and then they go from there, which is kind of the format that this is in. But as far as the verification, I have no idea.
Yeah, so everything we're about to speculate is a matter of speculation. We're going to look at all this objectively, and then we're going to, give our opinions, obviously, and at the end, I think we're going to try to give a very black and white, I think this is real, or I don't think it's real, as best we can. But if it's so gray and vague, then we're going to have to just say we don't know, and that's what you do if you don't know,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
He barked at the mailman. What can I say? So cute, isn't it cute? Okay, go away.
All right. Okay, I'm going to read exactly how it's written. First, the plot. I'm guessing he was asked about the plot. Here's what it says. The Rebel Alliance has caught wind of a weapons test on a planet in the Outer Rim. Our hero, Jyn Erso, is caught trying to steal a Rebel fighter and is taken into custody. When her background is revealed, she's given the choice of going on a mission to the planet to see what kind of weapons are being tested or being turned over to bounty hunters to be turned into the Empire for a substantial price on her head. Okay. Unbeknownst to the other characters, Jyn has received a transmission from a man claiming to be her father and telling her that the fate of the entire galaxy rests on whether or not she can find him. The rebels go on their mission and discover the Empire testing Imperial walkers and order an attack on the prototypes. But the walkers are fully operational and now down the rebel attack squad. Jyn escapes during the battle and resumes the search for her father and his mysterious warning.
Man, so the first thing I heard was that there were flashbacks. Joe, do you think this is a flashback, or do you think this is actually does that make more sense to you?
I think it's just the way the movie's going to play out, to be honest.
Okay.
It sounds like a pretty decent plot. I thought it was pretty cool. I can I mean, I guess flashbacks for the new Star Wars future. It's we're gonna be getting a lot of those in the upcoming movies because there's just they try to fill in so many blanks, I guess. But I mean, I don't. I can see this movie, that part of the movie. I don't really think it's a flashback. Could there be flashbacks? Maybe, but
Well, the original idea was that there's a flashback that was how we saw Mads Mikkelsen, who in an interview admitted that he is playing Jyn Erso's father. So that's a fact. He is playing her father, but how we get him and what he does is completely unknown. So I've heard that he's going to be in a flashback, and what this is saying is that Mads Mikkelsen's character left Jyn as a child because from the Rogue One trailer that she is alone. She's been alone for a long time, and that now he's coming back. He's reached out to her for some agenda. That's what it seems like it to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I didn't hear about that. I didn't know about that what you just said. I'm just going by what I read. I thought they can work it out without being a flashback, but maybe a flashback would make more sense.
Well, maybe it would. I don't know, because like what he just said, what Ed just said, is brand new to me. What do you think, Ed? Do you think this is actually?
I don't think what I read is going to be a flashback, but I think at the beginning, I think we'll see flashbacks of her, maybe like bits and pieces with her family leaving, something like that. I can definitely see that happening. But as far as the actual plot, as I just read, I don't think that part's a flashback. I think it starts out with her being caught trying to steal the rebel fighter. Maybe she had already talked to her father and she's trying to steal the rebel fighter to get to her father, or maybe it just was happening and this.
Maybe she just needed the money.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right. And that would really bring in. Oh, sorry, Ed. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
What fighter do you think she's stealing? I hope it's an A-wing.
I don't think it's either that.
Probably gonna be an X-wing.
What I just read is that the U-wing is not.
That's what I would think.
It's not. The U-wing is not a starfighter. Now, what a weird thing that I heard, that the U-wing is not a starfighter. What is that inferring?
Maybe it's an air speeder.
It's a ground. It's a planet. Atmospheric.
Ground-based.
Yeah.
Atmosphere-based.
So going to space with a U-wing, you will die.
Yeah, well, maybe it can handle it. I don't know what it is, but that's what I just heard from an uncredited source, that the U-wing is a ground speeder, not a space speeder, whatever.
There is that other X-wing that we see crash behind. What's the guy that looks like he's
Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen
with the stick. It's like I think it's like gray and silver or something like that, but it supposedly doesn't have a astromech in it.
And also from another uncredited source, we heard that these reshoots are about Donnie Yen's character needing to be developed more. So there are a million speculations, but this is a full plot leak, right? This is there's a lot of plot points that someone has supposed are real.
Assuming we take them as real.
So let's try to view these as objectively and like try to factor them into the puzzle, and at the end we'll kind of be like, okay, this is real, or no, I don't think it's real. That could be I don't know.
So far, I think it does. It sounds pretty good, but
all right. Well, what's next?
Okay, the next thing is the Death Star. The rebels are apparently totally unaware of the Death Star's existence. The weapons test that they're concerned with are the Imperial walkers, these new type of walkers. They only discover the Death Star because Jyn goes rogue and is determined to find her father. So that would seem to where that title comes from.
Yeah.
She's the other hero of the Death Star then. Her and Luke got that in common. Luke blew it up. She accidentally figured it out.
Yeah, they would have.
That's so romantic to me. That's so romantic that she finds the Death Star. He destroys the Death Star. Like, that to me is like, that is, and if they're going to have a thing in the future, which, I'm so optimistic about that, but it's, maybe it's a fool's optimism. I don't know.
Only the pessimistic Star Wars fans are like, no, that's stupid. I want a new story. I want new. Shut the hell up.
I had this huge fight with someone the other day, just yesterday actually. He was so adamant about EU and Legends, and like he'd be willing to slit the throat of J.J. Abrams in order to
Jesus.
I believe it. I have these fights almost every day.
and they want us happy people that enjoy Disney and love this new story, just like I love the new Jurassic Park. Like either you like it or you move on.
They can't stand it. Misery loves company. They can't stand it.
They want to dwell on Star Wars, the old stuff, and they love this hatred. They just fester on it. It's the ultimate trolling. And now hearing that there's going to be bad things happening to Rogue One, it's like they pop their heads out and they're like,
that's right. They're lying in wait to fun.
We told you it's going to suck. Oh, right. we're right. But
they've been waiting for this moment. Honestly, I think they've been waiting for this to jump on. You know what I mean?
Right now, Star Wars shows you a person's character, and right now you're seeing the sick people come out from under their holes.
Oh, I've always said that Star Wars fans are a collection of the best and the worst people of humanity.
Star Wars is a looking glass, just like in Harry Potter. Remember they had that mirror, and you look into that mirror, and you see what you want to see, and that's what Star Wars is. I think on a meta scale.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the plot.
Okay. So on to the next one. All right. Next one is about Mad Mikkelsen's character. All right. We know he's he is Jyn Erso's father. Apparently he is alive, but as a designer of the Death Star, is on death row, so as not to spill its secrets.
Oh.
He's had a change of heart at some point and has left the Death Star with a very small vulnerability, but a vulnerability nonetheless. He's contacted his daughter to come and get the details of the vulnerability from him into the hands of the Rebel Alliance and chose his daughter specifically so he can apologize before his death for being an absentee father.
Wow.
I have to say one thing. What about the Geonosians? Where do they come into all this? They
were wiped out. Yeah.
They're gone. They're massacred. There's a few left because think of like termites or ants, how they have like burrowed into the ground. What I believe is that the Death Star, or the first test of the Death Star's ability, was done on Geonosis after all the Geonosians put all the resources into building the first Death Star, which is what we see in Rebels. Anyways, Joe, what do you?
Then did he build it with the Geonosians, or
that's not canon? But in Rebels, it's canon that the Death Star has building units left as like scraps around Geonosis. And in season 2 of Rebels, they're like, oh, like what's all this stuff here for? This is huge construction yard in space. What's it for?
If you read
the Geonosians built it, but he designed it.
If you read the Darth Vader comics, one of the first few, it talks about how Geonosis was sanitized, and it also shows Vader going in and I want to say he wipes out the Queen. I'm not sure, but
she's still there. She's still there. She's there after the massacre of the billions of Geonosians underground.
Okay.
Built droids or something.
Yeah, she has an agenda, but she was a little insect,
right.
And Vader squashed her. So.
Yeah, Vader's a douchebag.
Vader is a douchebag. Period.
You heard it first here, gentlemen.
No, I mean he's the epitome of evil, and we're gonna see. Well, okay, let's keep going. Maybe we're gonna get into what Vader. I want to know about Vader.
Confused.
Real quick, does anybody? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, I'm sure the story. They have to do a Geonosis, reference in Rogue One, in my opinion, just to kind of like bridge the. All right, well, because they had everyone that's canon in Attack of the Clones. They had the Death Star plans. Maybe
right.
You're right. Maybe that was where they built it, but.
All right, well, guys, this is what I've always thought from the beginning. I read the Tarkin novel, and the 2 planets adjacent in the galaxy to Geonosis are Tatooine and Belderone.
Mm-hmm.
So these 3 planets are really close to each other. If the Death Star does not have light speed capacity, then its ability to move from planet to planet is or from solar system to solar system is.
I thought it did have light speed compatibility.
It's not finished. Yeah. It's not finished. They didn't put the dome on. Imagine trying to go into light speed with an unfinished. It has like a gaping hole in it.
Right.
That's how you do it.
So they move from Geonosis to Belderone, which is where in Tarkin novel they say there's a giant Imperial shipyard. It's better to be spaced for an Imperial officer than based in Belderone because it's a desolate place. And what do we see in the Rogue One trailer? We see a desolate... So, they have tropical, there's some tropics, but we see a tiny village on that planet, and that's all we know about civilization on that planet. It's a tiny, like a small, like, Nemo outpost or a, Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Belderone is the planet.
I think you might be right about that.
And also, when this all goes down, if the Death Star is still over Belderone being built, then last second, Leia finds out about it. She gets those plans. She's on her way to Coruscant or Alderaan. But what's the most, they have very clear routes of travel in the galaxy. There's
right.
It is hyperspace lanes. And sorry, but the position that Belderone lies is between there and Coruscant or Alderaan is most directly. It has to go through the route that Tatooine goes through. So I don't even know if Obi-Wan is where Leia plans to go with these Death Star plans, but I do know that that route that she would go is very likely to have intersected Tatooine,
right.
And it's very possible that she was stopped by, like in Rebels, we see a ship, a Star Destroyer that can stop hyperspace travel.
Oh, the interdictor.
The interdictor.
Yeah.
So
interdictor.
Is that right before? Like, imagine 10 minutes before the end of, at the end of Rogue One, 10 minutes before A New Hope, we see an interdictor stop this amazing. They stole the plans. They got out by the thin of their hair, and the Force is what's like. Well, what's on Tatooine, this planet that we are now forced to have these plans, the last hope, a new hope for the rebellion, for the light side, for the Jedi. It's a new hope right there because we saw they got out by the fins of their hair. Maybe Jyn's dead. That's very possible.
And
Leia,
probably.
Yeah, and Leia and the Tantive 4. Well, I don't know either, but
you're gonna chop her in half. She's gonna come back with robot legs.
Okay, anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's get back to the Rogue One plot that we know.
All right.
Okay, real quick though, I just want to say I think it's very interesting that her father, after helping the Empire build it, and now he's on death row so the secrets don't get us out.
That makes
thanks for your service.
That makes perfect sense with Geonosians.
Yeah, it does. But I just thought it was interesting.
The Geonosians were the ones that designed the plans. They started the plans. No, you know from Episode 2, he's got a little hologram like, these are our plans.
Thanks for your help. See ya.
They killed them off.
Right.
And then what I think happened is that, they killed all the Geonosians, and they didn't have the exact technology to finish the ultimate weapon aspect of the Death Star. And so you got this Mads Mikkelsen character, which I don't know, but tell me, does this plot kind of feed into that?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, let's keep going. What's the next one?
Okay, next one is Jyn, about Jyn. Okay, she remains loyal only to the idea of finding her father. She doesn't care about the battle between the Empire and the Rebellion. She just wants to find her father. It is that love which uncovers the Death Star. The Rebellion would have been screwed if Jyn didn't go rogue.
That's you, Joe.
Well, I like that a lot, actually. It's kind of like, what is she doing? Oh my God! Good thing she did that bitch.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty awesome. Star Wars are family stories. That's what it's supposed to be about, Without going off too much of a tangent or whatever, I would love to see if these characters. I hope Jyn survives towards the end. Like, let her be the only one. I love that. I really I love this idea, but at the same time, I'm still skeptical. It's Reddit. Reddit came out with the whole entire episode 7 plot, and we read that, and it's all not true.
Yes, exactly. So what's the verification of Reddit? What does Reddit know?
Reddit's just super fans.
What does Making Star Wars know? What does Star Wars Report know? What does 7x7 know? What does TGR Network know? What do any of us know?
What does Ryan Johnson know?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a fact. what do the directors of 7, 8, 9? Because I almost feel that those directors may be the only people that actually know what's going on. You know,
Pablo Dalton knows.
Pablo does,
Yeah,
and
I think there's
Average
a
farmer
small
members.
handful of people that know the basic outline
Yeah.
of what's going on.
and story group and directors, I think, are the people in those circles. But you know
Right.
who aren't? I do not believe that the Disney executives are in that circle.
I don't think they're in that circle, but I do think some of the really high ups get to see, like what's his name, told us that he saw an early copy of
Igor,
7.
what's his name? Bob Igor, something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Iger.
That guy died, the Robert Eager.
Did he?
He was the thumbs up guy. Yeah, he died like years ago.
Oh, that's
Okay.
Roger Ebert.
Well, guys, the Disney CEO is now dead.
Is he really?
No.
Well, you just killed him.
I'm just waking up, you open your door, and all the Disney characters are outside ready to slaughter you. And I'm just like, go find Walt Disney's frozen head. I think that's in Disney World somewhere.
Is it?
I don't know. Want to go find
I know
it?
they did it, but
Now, Joe, you shared a meme that was very funny to me. It had 5 Disney princesses, and then it had Ben Solo, Kylo Ren. And he is, in a sense, a Disney princess. He is more of a no, really. He is his character and his fatal flaws are more like a Disney princess than anything about Rey. She is. Well, the reason that they called people called Rey a Mary Sue is because she is near perfect, just like Luke was, but Rey is not. She has more of that Disney princess vibe, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Only Disney would let a garbage man and a girl beat a Sith Lord.
Okay, anyways, back to the Rogue One plot leak.
all right. Okay, the next thing is about the back-to-tank scene. You know, the questionable scene laying down. Well, this guy claims that it is not a back-to-tank, but a power core, which this makes a little more sense to me. It's not
That's
a tank.
what I said the day I saw the trailer.
Okay.
It is what makes the powers, the Death Star work. That's what I thought, but I abandoned that. So tell me why that is still real.
Okay, it's a power core for the Death Star. The man kneeling in front of it is actually Jin's father having a "what have I done" moment. The scene we are talking about is right before his arrest.
Well, gosh, go ahead, Joe. You go first, please.
I personally think that that's actually a really good idea. I can see that scene being right at the beginning of the movie, and then I can just picture after that Imperial troopers running in, maybe Tarkin comes in like, "You are being arrested for being a you." For making a thermal exhaust port that if you shoot lasers into it, it blows up. I mean, there's got to be more. There's got to be more behind that. He had to have done like kick the crap out of people, blown something up. I don't know.
I think he's shown his distaste for what they've done. I think that's the reason he's being arrested, and I think they're just killing him to be on the safe side. I think they know he doesn't approve of what he's done, and you know what? I think all this stuff, it sounds really right to me, and that's why I'm on the fence.
Want it to be true.
If it's just, for the fact that it's from Reddit, normally I'd brush off, but all this stuff sounds really good to me. And
Reddit, no. First, Reddit was the ones, not to put down making Star Wars, but Reddit had that same Episode 7 with the lightsaber falling from the sky, which was the original plan for Episode 7 in the opening.
But it also had,
it was
bunch of garbage too.
Yeah, it was Reddit before making Star Wars that came out with that, and it was Jason Ward's very astute, ability to pick through the possibilities and not possibilities within a partially true, partially false, full plot description that we got. That making Star Wars did a whole episode where they almost scene for scene laid out the entire plot of The Force Awakens. So. But also, just because someone's, they are as good as humans can be, but humans are flawed. Right. And when he promoted the idea that these reshoots are being done, and it's executives that pushed it, and that it may delay the Rogue One release. The end of his article, his article's title ended with a question mark, and I don't know. I don't want to give that too much credit. I think there's still nothing that's solidified about this whole Rogue One.
Oh yeah, there's
all this thing that's gonna be terrible, and this this leak is. I really hope it is an insider that actually knows something about Star Wars, that knows about this movie. That's like, oh shit, people are talking shit about it. Let me leak this info so that the hardcore fans are reassured.
It's all questionable at this point. I think we're just kind of sifting through it to find what actually could be real, and that's where I'm at right now with this. I'm on the fence as far as the plot point, the leaked plot points. You know what I mean? I think they sound really good, but at the end of the day, it's still from Reddit. Until we know this guy's actually verified, it could go either way.
So okay, let's think reality. When we think about reality, we want to know about evidence. We want to know about what is as guaranteed of evidence as we can find for the paradigm that we want to push forward. That's what politics or Star Wars leaks are about. It's about not knowing the facts but using our rationality to come to the conclusion of what is most likely. And we see right now, whether it's the people that are promoting Trump or the people promoting Hillary or the people promoting Bernie, all of them are lying. Every single one of them there's like 3 or 4 or 5 different paradigms that are all pushing their agenda. And the truth is, every single one of them is lying about the facts of the evidence about all the others to
spinning it in one direction.
Yes. Human nature is to do that. So when we look at Rogue One and all of these articles, Hollywood Reporter,
right.
that Larry guy. Larry, who's Larry?
Stormtrooper Larry.
Stormtrooper Larry, who are you? Larry has written 7 articles in the last 3 days about this Rogue One leak.
Right.
And he is the original person that I know of to have leaked that there's trouble on the horizons for Rogue One. So what I'm saying is nothing is set in stone, and we have to look at this as objectively as possible. And with that, what's the next point of this leak?
The next one is this one's a short one, but it is about the aliens and the droid. Okay, so one is a comic relief, one is a serious ass kicker. One is killed off much sooner than we'll be expecting, and that's all it says. So
the movie starts, he just dies.
Yeah, I'm thinking pretty quick. Yeah, I think of it as soon as they go on their mission.
Okay.
That's what I'm.
Well, Joe, what do you think about these characters? We have two. We have an alien character that's not fluffy. We have a fluffy alien character, and we have a comic relief droid played by Alan Tudyk, who plays the comedy pilot in Flyleaf. Flyleaf. I meant to say Firefly.
He was the pirate in Dodgeball.
Flyleaf is a terrible Christian band, by the way.
Flyleaf's Christian rock?
Yeah, they're Christian rock, hardcore. And exactly.
I like that song. I don't know.
I love Firefly, and Alan Tudyk is an amazing actor, and we know he played remember Artificial Intelligence in the Will Smith movie based on a Isaac Asimov novel.
iRobot? Is that iRobot?
iRobot, yeah. So the guy who played the main actor, the main robot, through that CGI was Alan Tudyk.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And of course, he also plays the pirate in Dodgeball.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, so he's an amazing actor, and he's extremely experienced with CGI. And I just saw him in another movie today. He's amazing. So I know we're going to have a great comic relief through Alan Tudyk in that robot.
But is he the comic relief, or is he the serious ass kicker? Because I can see him.
Alan Tudyk is not meant to be that.
That's true. That makes sense.
But also that furry, we have like in Guardians of the Galaxy we have that fluffy fox guy who is the comic relief.
Right.
We see like a fuzzy fox-like character who's a short little alien fox-like who's also a part of Rogue One. That's
but look at that Imperial what is it, assassination droid or whatever it is, compared to these two little aliens, and that to me, I mean, I guess he could still be the comic relief, but to me that I would see that as the the butt kicker, but who knows?
You could be right. What do you think, Joe?
I love droids. They're funny. I hope we see Chopper.
What do you think about? Okay, so who's gonna be funnier? The reconfigured assassin Imperial droid, or the little fluffy alien guy?
Assassin droid, because it makes me automatically think of HK-47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that.
IG-88 was, when I was reading the comic books with him talking, he does the same thing, like statement, query, before he says something very similar, but I would love to see a freaking crazy assassin droid reprogrammed and be just a little bit of a nod to HK-47.
It's possible that the little green alien is the butt kicker. Who knows?
Oh yeah, who knows? So we see this great, it is resemblant of the Guardians of the Galaxy ensemble, and I'm fine with that because I love that movie. I think it was a greater version of the ensemble, space cowboy odyssey. Just the core tenets of who the characters are, than even A New Hope had. Like, if George went back and he wanted to make an ideal, character dynamic between 6, 7, 5 people, I think that it's so similar, it's so great, that there's there's a high bar set in my mind of what they're going to do and what they're going to be able to do. So that's what I think. I think that we're going to have some great comedy in Rogue One, and I think we all should be just very happy no matter what happens, because I think it's going to be great. Alan Tudyk is amazing, and no matter what he does, it's always gold. I've never seen anything I haven't loved that he's been in. And he's a small role, but he is amazing.
Yeah.
I concur.
All right, next point.
Okay. The next thing is, do we see Vader? And his answer is, oh yeah. In a night scene, Vader absolutely lays waste to the Rebel ground squad. Unfortunately, this is one of the scenes we have to water down. We made it like something from an old slasher horror film.
I knew it.
Rebel soldiers who joked about boogeyman with magical powers, and then minutes later are absolutely wasted.
I've said that since I first heard that months ago. I wanted to see Darth Vader like a Jason Voorhees popping out of the shadows, killing people like a freaking horror show. At the same time, though, it's all about marketing with Disney, which makes me pissed off because I really want to see this. Like, I want to see like a gore fest. I want to see like limbs flying around, and I don't know. I'm sick, I guess.
I know we all think that, but okay, let's think very broad scale. Let's think about human nature, human psychology. If someone that had, because there are hundreds of people involved with the creation of this film, that know details they should not tell, right?
Yeah.
And all of those hundreds of people have their own opinions.
Right.
Darth Vader's going to be like the new boogeyman for little kids that see this movie. They're going to be scared to go to sleep at night because of Darth Vader. That makes me happy.
Well, that's the intention that it seems that they are trying to portray. But let's say there is someone who's on set, and that person sees that. They see that, oh man, they are making this gritty. They're making it Saving Private Ryan-like. They're making it war-like. And that's what we've known for months. We've known that since 2015. We've known that.
Right.
And there's someone on set that sees that, and in his mind or her mind, they perceive that, oh, the people will not want that. They're going to want what The Force Awakens was. And that person comes out and says something to someone. It just takes one person to come out and
what makes this one person God of Star Wars, though?
No, nothing. But all these leaks, every single one of these leaks could come from one person. Think about it. Think about one person that's willing to talk to TGR that's willing to talk to Making Star Wars, that's willing to talk to Star Wars Report or 7x7 or Underworld or Sith Report or what was it? Full of Sith. They're amazing. What if there's one guy that's or even Hollywood Reporter and Entertainment Weekly? There could be one person that has their own agenda for what they perceive this new movie should be.
Right.
See what it is. Because this story will be different. The story is not like...
Right, it's not supposed to feel like The Force Awakens. It's supposed to feel like
exactly.
New Hope.
So that's why...
Or not even A New Hope, but...
Yeah, no, well, The Force Awakens did try to personify what the original trilogy was. That's its goal. Agreed? Mm-hmm. Joe, do you agree on that?
Yeah, but I hope that's just for this one movie. For Episode 7, it was just to get everyone to feel back into Star Wars and made a lot of non-Star Wars fans Star Wars fans. Going forward, I hope it's more original.
Right. I think
Rey's not a Skywalker. It's either Rey's a Skywalker or GTFO, and that's my message to Disney.
I do actually agree with that, but that doesn't even factor into Rogue One, because the whole thing about Rogue One is setting a new tone, a military, heist.
It's a war movie.
It's a gritty war movie. Yeah, that's the whole point we've always heard. And, that point could be wrong. But what I think that we've had this huge hype is someone made it up from scratch, or we had one person on set that decided to speak out and talk shit and change the paradigm that people are thinking about Rogue One.
My thought about this was I thought, let's assume that there was some changes that have to be made. I'm assuming that there's a guy that was really pissed about this, and he said, "Look, I'm gonna." That's if this stuff is real. I'm assuming that this is how it came out. The guy is pissed that these changes have to be made, so he's going to go and tell what the movie was going to be or is supposed to be. You know what I mean? I think a crew member is saying, "Look, if this isn't going to be seen the way it's supposed to be, I'm going to let people know what it was." And if Vader, I'd love to see Vader just destroying people, but at the same time, I think the movies can still be dark and not and the deaths be implied instead of on screen. I mean, Episode 3 was pretty dark. Anakin killed a bunch of kids, and we didn't actually see that on screen. So it still can be done in a good manner. It's just it's a matter of how they do it.
Well, sorry, Joe. We're gonna get back to the main plot here and go back to the plot points. But one thing I really want to point out is The Force Awakens. I can guarantee you, for a fact, I obsess over this more than or as much as anyone I've seen. Rogue One will have less reshoots and less reimagining than The Force Awakens ever did. And the reason I think that is you just listen to J.J. Abrams have interviews this month, actually this week. J.J. Abrams did a interview with Nerdist, and he specifically said that we did so many reshoots with The Force Awakens, and he went into the details to justify them. And I'm like, you know what? I would have done the same thing. And that comes to the core of this.
Going along, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and every movie has so many reshoots.
Right.
So,
and I actually have. I'll get into it later, but I have. According to supposedly a crew member, I have an approximation of how much of the movie is going to be reshot. I'll get into that after we get done, the plot points and whatever.
All right, well, what's the next one?
Okay, the next one's a short one. It's about what original trilogy characters will be in the movie, and according to him, it's just Vader, Leia, Tarkin, and Mothma.
So that's you.
Yeah, I thought that Leia would be in right at the ending of the movie. You'll probably just see a hooded figure like Carrie Fisher back in the 70s, and she's wearing that white hood. We're probably not even gonna see her face, but you'll know it's Leia by what she's wearing. And if it takes place right before then, it's kind of like, here, R2, take these plans, or we might actually see the Rebels hand a young Carrie Fisher CGI character the Death Star plans, or who knows how they'll play out. They can give it to Bail Organa. Actually, no, he's on Alderaan. That pretty much was confirmed in Bloodlines. But yeah, it can't take place 5-10 minutes before A New Hope without Princess Leia at the end. It can't.
Mhm.
Well, there can be implications. They can imply that Leia will be in A New Hope, and it could be like a hooded figure. There's a hooded figure that's Leia on the Tantive 4, because the Empire is able to disrupt all communications between most systems, and I can guarantee you that between all trade routes, between all hyperspace lanes, there is communication broken. So wherever this Death Star is, wherever this event that occurs, that Jyn has the plans, I think that every single one of her crew is killed to the very end. And at the very end, and it's like her reaching her hand out, just barely being able to get there, and Leia is able to, take the torch and get there, which is why the beginning of it'll give A New Hope the beginning, like all more urgency. They're like, oh my God, they just got the plans.
Yeah.
Like they are just able. Oh my God, there's a Star Destroyer following them. They're gonna get trapped. Like they are desperate, and that is what I think the whole point of Rogue One is. It's to show that the Empire is so gosh darn powerful. Yeah. I was allowed to say 3 fucks on this show, so that's 1. Fuck, and.
Save it. You don't want to use it when you don't need it.
I was worried earlier when I said ass kicker.
You can say that. I was just told by Mart that I'm allowed to say the F word 3 times. I just used it.
I didn't say it once, which is surprising if you heard my show.
Oh gosh, Joe, you were so good so far on the show. Anyways.
Good. Sorry.
No. Let's get to the next plot point. I think we're done.
Okay. Well, real quick, can I just say I like the fact that Vader and Mothma are there, but with Leia and Tarkin, I think they got to be really careful, and I would prefer to only see them in like holo transmissions.
I think Tarkin will be on there for 10 seconds, and that 10 seconds will be telling director Krennic. Director Krennic, he'll be like, well, you messed up this time.
Yeah.
Go to the planet and fix this.
And I think that's all they should do is something small like that.
Exactly. And then the director will be killed right then. Because, Tarkin is in charge. He oversaw. We know for a fact that Tarkin oversaw the Death Star's completion. That is canon in, 5 different sources. So he is the one that oversees the completion of the Death Star. And director Krennic, right?
Yeah.
He is the one I think was originally given that, or given maybe the science aspect or the engineering aspect of it. And there's something going on the planet.
I'm thinking whatever's going on the planet, the weapons testing, whatever he's in. I'm thinking he's in charge of the planet-based operations. But we do see him on the Death Star in the trailer. So I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say.
But also, he's a frontline soldier. He goes there.
We do see that too.
Crash. So he's on the ground, and I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, on to the next one. If that's all right with you. The next one is about cameos. He says, yes, there is a huge A-lister who has one line, but they don't want to spoil it because they're keeping that because it's such an awesome what the hell moment, according to them. So, who that could be, I don't know.
Joe?
Any guesses?
Young Han Solo.
You know what?
Alden Ehrenreich is an A-lister right now.
That's a good guess.
Or Yoda. I don't know.
What I just heard from Star Wars Underworld is that
Obi-Wan, maybe Ewan McGregor's in it. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh, imagine. Shit. That's better.
No, he's not really supposed to leave Tatooine, so how, you know what I mean?
Incoming transmission.
Oh gosh, imagine because they don't do after credit scenes, but let's just pretend that they will. Okay, let's just pretend somewhere in the plot they do an abstract outside scene. My first inclination is Obi-Wan is sitting in his hut and he's just like, there's been a disturbance in the Force, or something like that, right? My second inclination is that it's Han Solo and Chewbacca at some sleazy lounge, and they're like, well, I guess we'll have to take the Millennium Falcon to Tatooine. We can't find a job here, but whatever. A job is a job. And then he'll go to Mos Eisley.
I feel like that would feel shoehorned in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So those are my two theories, and like, just like my brain, and also
Yeah.
Star Wars Underworld kind of implied that with the with Han Solo. But what do you guys think?
They've been talking about that Han Solo cameo for a while. So if there is a cameo, I would almost expect for that to be it. That, when I read that, I didn't think about Han Solo, but as soon as Joe said that yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I
who,
don't,
who do
just
you want to see? Joe? Who do you ideally want to see come into this story right before A New Hope?
Kanan
Kanan. Okay, do you want to see
or
Kanan?
Ahsoka. I want to see Ahsoka on the big screen. I think
Oh God, yes.
I think honestly, between episodes 5 and 6, like when Luke's training, I think Ahsoka should be the one that trains him.
Yeah, but that's premature. It's premature ejaculation.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit, not too much. It didn't ruin my
How many
underwear.
times can you say ejaculation?
Ejaculation.
Twice.
So Biggs Darklighter, who is the guy that I think honestly, if we're gonna see a Rogue One cameo, is going to be the backstory to Biggs, because we're going to see just real gritty stuff. We're not going to see the magic of Ahsoka and Kanan and Ezra, because that's premature ejaculation. They're going to have a movie 4 years from now, or we're going to first thing we're going to get is this book about Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And it's going to be before Rebels, and that's going to set up a story that will be the movie that she and maybe I hope Kanan and Ezra are in.
That's coming out in September, I believe. I have to double check, but
yeah. Oh, I
can't wait.
Yeah, I cannot wait. But Joe, just as much as you, I want to see Kanan and Ahsoka and Ezra or Hera, but I feel that because...
I know Gareth Edwards wrote season 3 of Rebels. I heard, or helped write it.
Really?
Oh, really?
That's what I heard somewhere. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm 90% sure.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, and they're probably just gonna say like Phoenix Squadron. They have been saying since the beginning they know that Rebels ties in with Rogue One way or another. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit. I hope we just see Chopper, like a live Chopper. Or I don't know. Are we gonna see R2D2 3PO maybe?
Oh God. Well, I'm gonna bring this really sad. I'm gonna make this. This is very serious and very sad and very factual. Season 2 of Rebels. We know that Kanan, Ezra, Zeb or Jeb Bush, and that's what I always think. And most importantly, Hera. Hera knows that on Geonosis there were Death Star plans, or there was a construction yard for something giant. And then Mon Mothma in the Rogue One trailer says, "We just discovered that there is this massive weapon." So
I thought she said you're talking about the Rogue One trailer, right?
Yes.
I thought she said something about weapons testing. I don't think she said specifically about the.
Well, but also your leak just now said that it is Jin that first discovers
finds
the
out
Death
about the Death Star. That's why I said that. Yeah.
So we get three contradicting stories, and if we were to rule out this new Rogue One trailer concept, or to factor it in, that would mean that everyone that ever was on the Ghost Crew is now dead. Because
Filoni did say something about before the show even aired. He in an interview he said something about they won't live long enough to see the fruits of their labor, or something to that effect.
Yeah, and you know what? It just makes you think that literally everyone in the Rebels crew there, and also just in an interview that Dave Filoni did, he said that Disney is allowing Rebels to conclude fully, whereas Lucasfilm with Clone Wars, they just kept going. They were just going until as far as they could.
Right.
So it really does make me think that Rebels, all of that rebellion, Taco or Satako or whatever the admiral, the guy in charge of the Rebels branch, because we know that Lando and we know that Bail Organa are involved with this rebellion, and we know Ahsoka is. But what if every single character in that rebellion dies other than Bail Organa? He starts a new rebellion, and that is the source of the New Hope rebellion.
I don't know. I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
I don't know.
This is all again. This is what we do. We speculate.
Speculate. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know anything.
Right. You're right.
Anyways, next plot point.
Okay. Anyway, another short one. Anyway, about the battle scenes. There's one big ground battle, which would make sense. 4 skirmishes, and apparently no space battles, but there is a space pursuit of sorts.
Space pursuit of sorts.
Yes, that's what.
The 10 minutes.
New Hope at the end of the movie.
Of course, but yeah. But if it's starting 10 minutes at, I don't know.
Joe, do you want to go? Tell me, Joe. What do you think is going to happen between the end of Rogue One and New Hope?
They're going to give the plans to Leia, and she's going to put them in R2. Roll credits.
If that's the one space battle we see, how do you think that would play out? How do you think the space battle where Leia is running away between where we see Rogue One end and A New Hope? Like, what do you think we're going to see at the end of Rogue One if that's the space battle?
Might start out with the, what is it called, the tentative, how do you say, the tentative 4?
I've heard it called Tantive 4. I've heard it called Tantive 4.
Tantive 4 is like, pronouncing all the letters in the word.
I always called it Tantive, but
so did I. But then I recently looked at the word again and I realized Tantive, and that seems like what it is.
I don't know.
I mean, personally, I think it's a great idea to I like the whole idea that it starts right where Episode 4 takes off. It might not be a scene in Episode 4 though. For all we know, you can see the stormtroopers about to cut open the door, and Darth Vader, back of his head, just standing, or right before the boarding of that ship. It can go in all different. I really have no idea. I mean, if they say there's a space pursuit of some sort, that automatically makes me think of, like, the end scene is going to be the Star Destroyer chasing that Rebel cruiser.
I think it's going to be, I don't even think it's going to be the Tantive 4. I think the space pursuit that they're referring to, assuming that's real, is Jyn Erso's ship escaping right before it's destroyed. I don't think we're going to even see. We might at the very, very, very end see the Tantive 4 being chased by the Devastator, but I don't think we're going to see any part of what we see in A New Hope. You know what I mean? I think that's in A New Hope, and I don't think we're going to get that far.
Imagine, okay, so like this is the very, very last fucking scene of Rogue One. I said,
you wouldn't. That's times. 4.
5 times.
Okay.
So Jyn gets away. She's getting away, and there is Star Destroyer chasing her, and Belderone and or wherever this location is, close to Tatooine, right? So we see her getting away. She's getting away, and it's like we saw everyone in her crew get killed. We feel that she is never gonna get away. There's like no chance. And she's getting caught. She's being tractor beamed, and at that second, someone that she called in earlier to Bail Organa, saying, "Help! We need help. We're gonna get caught." Last second, there's a rebellion ship within their proximity to transmit the data. Right.
Right.
Right then, that could be the last breath of Jyn, the last she's able to pass the torch. I think that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get that what's gonna happen is they steal the plans, and it is literally the last breath of the person who does it that is able to transmit the data or something like that to where they continue the story. It's gonna be like we don't know. Like we came into this movie thinking that the plans of the Death Star are going to be handed to Leia, and that's where but it's going to seem like there's something more until the very last second where it just happens to happen.
Right.
Well, interestingly enough, the very next thing is about the original ending.
oh, please tell me.
So,
okay. Guys, I've never read this full plot leak that people are saying is real. So, do tell me how my brain compares to that.
Here's what it says. What we've created is not so far from the inspiration of the original films, and what what we styled it after World War II combat. The difference is that the original trilogy only used that inspiration for the air fights. We invoked that same feeling for the infantry scenes. There's a beachhead scene that's very much a derivative of Saving Private Ryan, but in the Star Wars universe. Imagine stormtroopers are rebel soldiers, and as soon as those ramps come down, they run off the transport, and they're mowed down by enemy fire. That's what we've made here. I'll put it this way: a lot of characters die in this movie right now, and that was supposed to be the whole point. You don't name an entire squadron after a group that got a happy ending. No, that's normally in honor of a great sacrifice. Rogue Squadron.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. The ending will stay the same, but the crew's fate will be implied, not shown. The reshoot will be for our Normandy-inspired beachhead scene and the Vader massacre, as well as a few other combat scenes. Disney wants a movie that kids can watch too, because that will net the most money.
Bull crap.
Yeah, that
Bullshit.
Director Gareth is livid. Oops.
No, Joe. We're reading off this thing. Joe does not feel that this is real. Joe, tell me why.
I don't, and you know what? I guarantee, like it even says in the notes, Gareth Edwards is fuming, like he's pissed he did that. If I was a director, I would have been like, "Well, go fuck yourselves," and I would have probably just walked off the set, do whatever you want, and then I would have exposed the whole thing online. I'm a loose cannon. That I don't know. Maybe I mean, yeah, The Force Awakens was good, but this is not supposed to feel like The Force Awakens. This isn't a Skywalker story, like what everybody wants the freaking 789. Not everybody. A lot of people don't want that. They want to veer off the Skywalker path and they say they're Star Wars fans. But the fact of the matter is this: this is a standalone movie. It's meant since the get-go. This was supposed to be like a war movie. This was supposed to be something different. That's what made me excited about it.
Right.
You don't have to reach out to kids in marketing. First of all, kids are going to be into it because of all the lasers and the stormtroopers, the explosions, the action, all that. You know, why do we have to, as the older fans and stuff, like from the prequel generations, the original trilogy generations, why is it about money? It says the name Star Wars on it. Does Disney not realize that name is marketable, and when you put Star Wars on
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well,
no, they don't. You know why?
People are running the company.
You know how I know they don't? Because look at reality. Look at the world. Look at the world we're living. Look at Bloodline. Look at the novel that Claudia Gray was like, hey, this is a reflection of reality. She is saying that, I don't know, indirectly, it feels that in Bloodline, she is saying that it doesn't matter what committee you have or story group you have, people in a group, there's always corruption, and there's always issues, and there's always impurities. And we're trying to give the best, purest George Lucas vision without George Lucas being really involved right now.
Because they don't want him involved. Because nobody, apparently, it'd be like Episode 7 would have been like a repeat of Episode 1, which I liked Episode 1 too. I mean, a lot of it, when I watched
committees are better.
Episode 1 last night, it was like really the first time we saw the Jedi and the Sith, multiple Jedi. That was cool. Seeing the old school Jedi Council, I thought that was all great. The story was good. I mean, should have he maybe like been a little bit less selfish and had a little bit of a writing team? Yeah. But you know what? They were his stories. Moving forward, it's not really... It's still his, but I don't know. Even Pablo Hidalgo, didn't he say like they tried to they were gonna reboot the EU, but instead they were like, no, let's just start over. But you'll pick and choose what you can use. Like I read all the Legacy of the Force books. Those should have been 7, 8, and 9.
Well, you know what? One of the biggest problems with businesses now that The Force Awakens set that precedent of all that money it made. Now every movie after, they're going to expect that money, and Rogue One was never going to make that same money. So I think they're going to hold it to an unfair standard, which could end up being a very, very bad thing. Episode 8, but yeah, it is.
What is?
But the Deadpool movie showed that an R-rated movie can bring in money, and I think to change this movie just for kids, it can be a mistake. But at the same time, I don't think it could be necessarily a death knell. They can still do this in a way that can be dark and imply a lot of violence and still be good. But personally, I'd still rather see Vader destroying and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we probably will see that to an extent, but
But I think a lot of it's going to be implied now instead of actually on screen.
that's not right. It's funny. We're just fans. They're just like, ah, ha, 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 basically to us. So.
That's if this is true.
Oh, don't forget, Hector Mattis makes $125,000 a year for his ability to give his advice.
Okay. I'm not saying.
Okay, so there are people in charge of the money.
Are they the people that, when it comes to this franchise, are they the right people?
There are people that are in charge of the money. And those are smart people. Now, just because you're born rich doesn't mean you're dumb. But just because you're born dumb, no, just because you're born poor doesn't mean you're rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyone could be anyone. And what we see on the Disney executives, their council, I believe they know that what will make the most money is what the people want.
Oh, no, they want Star Wars. It's another Star Wars movie. That's the people want a Star Wars movie.
But like you have to realize that like the people that are making this movie are not like objectively thinking about money making. They're not like what will make the most money. They're not like the fucking Pelicans. That's 7 fucks. That's 7 after I said that. They're not the Pelicans from from Finding Nemo. They're not like woo woo woo. Like they have somewhat of a brain at least, right? And they have the brains because they're money driven. If they're money driven, then they are driven to think about psychology. And if you're driven to think about psychology, then you're driven to think about what the people will actually want. And they don't care what they want. What they want is not what the people want, and they know that. But they know that the 4 dynamics of marketing is male, female, young, old. And race is not a factor. I just want everyone to realize it is a factor, but it's not one of the. It's like
I hate the Tyler Perry movies.
I actually used to watch those obsessively because I wanted to learn about culture, but then I realized that is a fantasy and has nothing to do with anyone's culture.
that was a guy as the old woman.
Was it Medea?
Yeah, that was a guy, right?
Oh my god, I can't stand any of the movies.
Her voice. Oh.
Hello.
Oh jeez.
How you doing?
I mean, I don't know. If they made a Finn origin standalone movie and they had Tyler Perry directed, I'd be like, I'm done. No.
Oh, come on. Well, here's the thing. I don't give a shit what culture you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what age you are. Oh, actually.
It has nothing to do with the color. It's just I hate the Tyler Perry movie.
Age is one thing I care about. Actually, age is one thing I care about. And Rogue One is not being made for 60-year-old men or women. Rogue One is not, I don't think, being made for 14-year-old men or women. Girls, boys. I think Rogue One is a gritty film that
adult males
is for adult, and females can enjoy, because females, if it's Star Wars, they would enjoy Saving Private Ryan, Star Wars, if they're 25, whatever.
I think it's directed towards the original trilogy fans and the people that were into the like A New Hope and the original trilogy basically. I think it's directed towards some of us older fans. Not of course kids are gonna like it no matter what, but I think it's designed to bring back some of the fans that have been out of it for a while. You know what I mean? And I completely forgot what I was going to say. I had something to say, but
well, are they going to change it so that so this is the fear. This is the media fear hype, because what media does is they take, hey, what are people most afraid of? Let's put that in their brains and let's try to make money off that. That's what media does. So the media of Star Wars, whether it's a guy in his basement blogging while he's fapping, or whether it's Jedi Council that are, they're great high-end entertainment media. All of them, every one of them, their goal is to take not the truth, but to take what people perceive from what they say based on clicks, based on views. All they care about is views and clicks. Views and clicks, clicks and views. That's all people care about. And it's sick. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So when I try to view Rogue One, I think objectively, what do the people want? And do the people want a film that equally adheres to what male and female want? Yes, I believe Rogue One is that. Naturally, not because people say it. Do they want Rogue One to be what 14-year-olds want equally as much as 50-year-olds want? No, I don't believe that. I believe Rogue One is Saving Private Ryan based for 14-year-olds? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be PG-13, but I believe it is a more adult, toned, and mood movie than we've ever seen.
No, as far as the way Star Wars has been handled, and up until this point, I think that everything since the sale to Disney has been handled almost perfectly, in my opinion. So until this is proven to be true, I'm going to lean on this. I'm just going to believe that everything's fine until I hear proof that this stuff is true.
Joe, do you think everything's fine?
I don't know yet.
Joe's skeptic. And being skeptical is very important.
I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just stubborn, I guess. I've always, as soon as, oh man, I really just, yeah, I just have such mixed feelings about it. I love The Force Awakens. It was good. I like that it mirrored the original trilogy, and you know they could have taken a little bit more from the prequels. What I don't like is that all these freaking YouTubers claiming that they're Star Wars fans want them to go in a new direction with 7, 8, and 9. I would like to see Rogue One be different, like what they want. I want a new, different story. Some of the biggest YouTubers have said that. I watched this one where she's like, "We're gonna go with the boring." She's freaking. Oh my god! I really want Rey to be a Skywalker. Like,
I'm not sure. What do you mean by different direction? Like, what?
They want to freaking I don't know. They want to kill off the Skywalkers. That makes me sad.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know.
No, they don't.
I don't think Rey has to be a Sky. I think the Skywalker line can be continued by Kylo Ren. He technically is a.
If she's not a Skywalker, I'm gonna be like, don't kill off Ben, don't kill off Ben, don't kill off Ben.
I think Ben and Rey are the focus of this film, and I think of the sequel trilogy. I think it's going to be about Ben's redemption, and I think Rey is going to be the one that redeems him. But his redemption would have to be in death because of the things he's done. But I think it is about his redemption. Because the fact that he killed Han makes it to where he can't be redeemed in life. I think in death,
Rey, he'll die, and then she's knocked up with the next generation.
That could be very well be. I actually that makes a lot of sense because I think, like I said, I think Kylo is the Skywalker continuation, and Rey being the possible mother for the future. That would make her place.
The thing that doesn't make sense with that is why would the lightsaber call to her? That was Luke's.
Because not necessarily that she is a Skywalker, but she is the Force calling to her because she was the one that will continue the Skywalker line. Maybe that's my thought.
That's a good idea. I like that.
I don't buy it.
You two, battles of the death. Keep going. This is beautiful.
I think you're an asshole.
No, I think you both are both. First off, I think all three of us are geniuses in that all three of us, we obsess over Star Wars and we're very passionate about it. And from that, here's what happens in reality and with analyzing anything. If you have different opinions, the truth lies between those opinions, unless there's one person that is divorced from reality. And I think all three of us are as connected, not divorced, from the Star Wars canon and the direction that the story is going. So I think that fighting it out is how we understand the way things actually are.
Get to the bottom of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, if with your permission, I'd like to move on. I think we've.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a good 20-minute dissection. More
right.
like distraction, more like diversion, more like little off the topic. But yes, the next
Okay.
point of the Rogue One theme.
So to continue, what happens in the last 10 minutes? This is major spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, then I think it's a little too late. But
so here is if you don't want to know the end of Rogue One.
It's not the end of Rogue One. It's a Reddit post.
Right. It's the end of the post.
And that but here we go. That's what I thought when I first listened to the Making Star Wars full plot leak of The Force Awakens. I was like, it's all speculative. How do we know this is? But it was real. So, there is a grain of salt potentially within any.
There's a little bit of truth in legends.
Yeah, and this isn't even. There's a little bit of truth within the legends of what we've heard from people who say they know what they're saying. So go with it. Go.
Okay, here we go. Jyn Erso and crew beaming the plans aboard the Tanta V4, whatever, before the ship is destroyed by an Imperial caravan. So that's kind of what I was saying about the ship, another ship being chased. But anyway, the Alliance gets knocked around the whole film until the end. Remember, when A New Hope starts, the Rebels had just scored their first victory, literally at the very end of the movie. The only one of the heroes to live is K2SO.
Gay.
See, I think this was what I thought anyway. Not about the K2SO, but I thought they were all going to die because Vader says he has tracked the rebel spies to her. And now she's my only link to talking about Leia. So that means that sounds to me like he's destroyed everything along the way. That Leia is literally the only link to finding the secret rebel base.
Well, so for a fact, what happens in Rogue One is the first rebel victory, according to Darth Vader, according to what happens in the opening scroll. Scroll? Is that a word? Scroll.
Opening crawl. Crawl. There you go.
Crawl. And what we know from Vader's dialogue is, "They won't defeat us this time." That's a direct quote. So they did defeat him. He's been defeated. The first victory happened right before, right before A New Hope. So, yeah. They were defeated. The Empire has been defeated for the first time. Joe, what do you think about the fact that the absolute most epitome of what the Empire is? The fear that the Empire puts into the galaxy is at its absolute most what's the word? Apex. The apex of the Empire's fear over the galaxy ends right now when the Death Star is destroyed because of Rogue One.
They must have thought to themselves, "Wow, we're not invincible. Let's be more dicks and build another one."
Well, no, but here's what we know from all the canon novels and everything. We know that after the Death Star's destruction, everything is downhill permanently for the Empire. There's nothing uphill. So the people feared the Empire in the whole galaxy the most right before A New Hope.
So the snowballing effect of the people happened from that moment on, basically.
But what we have seen has been the Death Star right then before its destruction, a little bit, but we didn't get much. And we know the Rebels years before when the Empire is feared the most, because I think the Empire crushed the Hera's rebellion. Hera is the one, for the Twi'leks, for Ryloth, that created the real rebellion. And, Ahsoka was a part of it, and Bail Organa contributed. It was all crushed, I believe. And so they are the most cocky, most egotistical right before A New Hope. So Rogue One, I think, will be the greatest movie ever for the Empire. And I think that solely because we know that they are going to be the most confident, they're going to be the biggest, they're going to think people fear them the most, and because of that, that's going to make their egos the biggest, and they're going to be the most scary acting.
Well, like it says, the rebellion is knocked around literally the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the Empire is probably, just completely annihilating them, and literally that sole victory is that last person beaming the plans to Leia at the last moment, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, if you want to, I have some information on the reshoots if you want to hear actual technical data from, if you'd like me to go over it.
All right, go for it.
According to MakingStarWars.net, some of the crew has been talking, and from what we hear, JJ is supervising the reshoots. Also, Gareth Edwards and a partner are doing the reshoots together. That partner happens to be Christopher McQuarrie, who is the writer of the most recent draft of Rogue One. This draft is considered superior to the film that was shot previously. So basically, this draft that he wrote was not completed when much of the film was shot, and the revisions keep coming in. So this is what I was saying about most movies, they evolve, and this movie seems to be evolving even more so than before. So if this is true, then that would mean that reshoots were going to happen no matter what, pretty much. You know what I mean?
They are going to happen. They are going to happen.
They're going to happen.
Natural. Reshoots, Eddie. May I call you Edward?
Yeah, whatever you want.
My mom calls me.
Doesn't matter.
By the way, Joe, what did you call it? Your mom call you?
Just said only my mom calls me Edward. I thought that's what he would have said, but he didn't. He said something.
Okay, the point I'm getting at is that we should all be calm. Everything is cool.
Right.
Rogue One reshoots were rescheduled over a month ago, and that's according to a very reliable source who's on staff with Lucasfilm.
We're not talking about Mavis, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Okay.
I got.
Anyways.
All right.
I know there is news. There was news a month ago of reshoots in Mexico for 4 weeks.
Yes.
So what Making Star Wars did was they tried to hone on people's fears. They tried to be like, there's going to be 6 weeks of 40 hours a week work of people doing all this stuff for 6 days a week, and it's going to be crazy for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
No, everything's calm. Everything's cool.
Yeah, I believe so.
Reshoots are scheduled. They're normal.
Right.
J.J. Abrams did far more reshoots for
Force Awakens
than ever will be done for Rogue One.
I can believe that. But also they said these revisions kept coming in during the filming, and it was making things feel uneven. And they're saying this is not Gareth Edwards' fault. For the reshoots, 32 sets have been created or recreated. The crew expects to be reshooting about 40% of the film. That sounds a little high to me, honestly.
False.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. And
false. No, I didn't say false because they reshot over 60% of The Force Awakens after initial shooting was done. So, and how much of that was used? Maybe 10%.
Right.
That's a fact.
There's a lot of extra shots in movies, especially with Star Wars movies. There's a lot of extra stuff that just because you don't know when you're doing the editing what's going to go in, what's going to change, you might need something slightly different. You know what I mean? They do things from different angles, different stuff like that. There's one more thing here. It's just a little thing. They're going to be working 6 days a week for 8 weeks. So if somebody can do the math, where would that put us? Does that sound like they have enough time to edit this movie to get it out by December?
Of course they do. They're professional editors. They probably have like a team of have 50 people in an office somewhere just editing all they do for work.
Right.
So I think they'll be all right. Of course, they have no choice. They don't have a choice but to be all right.
Yeah. They've already pushed back episode 8, so to push back Rogue One on top of that. What's that?
We would have gotten our first trailer already if it was coming out next May.
Right. That was very upsetting.
That is 1,400 hours of each person. 1,400 hours for each person that's on set reshooting. Okay? So if 1,400 hours is what is expected of each crew member over a 8-week period, that implies that they have nothing to do with anything that has to do with shooting a film. Construction workers, you ever see them work 40 hours a week? Really? No. You work maybe 14 hours a week as a person on the scene. Maybe 20. You'll get paid, overtime. So I didn't factor that in. They'll be paid 20 hours a week for actually working, and then 20 hours a week double time for overtime. Okay? That's how it works. These people are the most unionized, sick, disgusting, capable people. They're really, they're most entitled.
Star Wars.
From everything, not Star Wars, but in Hollywood, the guy that owns the boom box, he should be praising his Lord for getting the opportunity, not begging. Oh well, I held this microphone for 10 hours this week, so I deserve $200,000. That's how they feel. And I know that because of my own, personal experience with the testimonies. And I know that simply because you look at the facts from the articles you read about how long they work, about the strikes that happen, about the threats of strikes from the unions. It's all sick. So when people say they're going to work hard hours, yeah, fucking right. That's number 8 of the F word. So you know Mart. And Mart is a beautiful man. He edits this and he directs the entire Gamatube network. So thank you, Mart. But thank you, Mart.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of work ahead of you for this one, I think.
No, he's not gonna edit out. He might.
Oh no.
He might bleep. He might do some bleeping.
Me and Alex are shooting a porno in Florida next year.
That's not a true. Actually, Mart,
what?
Take out that Mart. I want you to take out that whole part right there where Joe says that.
Joe I said shooting, not making, Game-O.
I'm pretty sure Joe. I'm pretty sure you just said that you and I are gonna make a porno in Florida.
Not to each other, like we're gonna make a porno, but we're not gonna be in the porno together.
So there's gonna be like no sword crossing.
No, it's gonna be our directing, and then we're gonna make a Star Wars movie.
Okay.
We'll practice with that. I'll hold the microphone and not bitch, and I don't know why I said any of that.
Oh, you said it because you meant it, and that's fine. Anyways, so the topic on hand is that the people that are making these movies would never work 6 days a week, 40 hours a day. That's not who they are, and I can tell you because of union rules. Union rules define who the people that make Star Wars and that make all Hollywood films are. And if you don't conform to their union rules, you get kicked out of being able to have that opportunity.
Is it possible that 6 days a week maybe isn't every person working 6 days a week, but the crew working 6 days with people revolving in and out?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll give that maybe credence. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm an American. I think you should work, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And if you complain, then you should be kicked out. So that's my personal opinion.
Kicked out then, I guess.
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
That's how I feel. That's my personal opinion. And if you have if you have a job, if you have a career, and you're like, I'm not gonna work 40 hours a week because I think I'm better than that. And that's how it seems that most Americans feel. And
that's why you go to school, and that's why you learn, so you can make more money, so you can do better.
True, but in Hollywood, in L.A., there's a sick kind of disease going around that thinks that you're entitled to this role of, oh, well, I hold the microphone for the new Transformers movie, so if I do that, You think I'm going to work 40 hours a week on this new Force Awakens? No. I'm not going to do anything. That's how I feel that reality is about how, the people working on this movie are. I feel that producers work hard, directors work hard, Kathleen Kennedy works hard.
Alex gets hard.
I get hard. But the people that are, the little manual laborers, it's hard to accept your role as not being the director if you're just a guy holding a mic.
I think if they're on a crunch, though, they're going to find the people to get in there. I don't know that they necessarily have to have the same person working 6 days a week. You know what I mean? I think if they could have production rolling 6 days a week and find different people, they'll find ways around the rules. I think if they're on such a crunch in order to get this movie out, my only fear is, like I said before, not being able to do that and having to push back the movie, and that would be the most devastating thing to me right now, because we've already pushed back Episode 8, like I said, and I don't know, I've been waiting for this movie since I first heard about it. The fact that we're getting spin-off is just amazing to me, and it's
amazing.
So we've already, we've been waiting a year, even though that's short in terms of between Star Wars movies, but December, we're ready to see it in December, so if it gets pushed back, that's going to be terrible. But now I've already heard rumors of toys and things being pushed back till after the release of the movie, which I've been looking forward to. Certain toys. I don't know if it's every toy, but like I'm a fan of Force Friday. I was first in line at my Toys R Us for the Force Awakens Force Friday, and I plan to be first in line this year for the Rogue One Force Friday. So if that stuff gets pushed back too, that's going to be heartbreaking, honestly.
No, really, I do agree with you. I'm not a toy guy. Star Wars to me is all theoretical and conceptual, but I do understand like wanting a physical toy. Mm-hmm. Joe, are you more of a toy guy?
Yes. Wait, I'll show you.
He's going to show us. So Joe is about to show us his collection of toys. It's this
TIE Fighter.
All right, so you guys
my TIE Fighter. This is my Boo Bear, Kylo Ren.
Nice.
Hold on. Ow, my back. This is my Darth Vader alarm clock. I didn't open it. I just look at it.
It's pretty much my toys. Keep them in the package. I prefer the way they look in package.
This is my
nice.
Guy Blow Ren.
Nice. Guy Blow, huh?
Guy Blow Ren.
Yeah. It's pronounced Shiloh.
Go eat a hamburger and choke on a cow dick. And
Shiloh, when you were young, you used to call me names.
I'm gonna put these toys back later. It hurts too much right now.
That's a Neil Diamond song.
Me too. I went to the chiropractor yesterday. My back's killing me.
Yeah.
I
don't want to say, but I understand.
Yeah.
So we're all average Joes.
I am.
Or average Eds.
I'm an average Ed. That's right.
So we're
Average
not.
Alex.
We're not
that could be the name of the porno we make. Average Alex.
Average Alex. We're not the Jedi Council. We're not the people that are like looking for 200,000 clicks on clickbaiting articles. So I think that's important. I think maybe it's important for all of us, people that are just fans, to kind of rise up and go against all this bullshit. Because we're right now, like in the last 4 days, we have seen all these lies and deception and bullshit from people that are looking to take advantage of us simply for their own click or
right.
podcast or for views.
It's just it's there for traffic. They use deceptive titles and bias information to try to use your emotions to get web traffic. That's what it is.
And I'm tired of us all like acting PC or bullshit about Star Wars. Like, if we like Star Wars, we're going to be true about who we are and our nature, and we're going to go against these people to make up bullshit articles.
Let's kill them all.
Kill 'Em All, which is the greatest album by
I don't know. I'd say Ride the Lightning, maybe, or
that was one of the
Master Puppets. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly think the Black Album is the greatest Metallica album. And, I think in our generation we have to realize that Metallica is I don't know. For me personally, the greatest messenger and metal band ever.
Yeah, you steal their music, you get sued. Fucking Napster.
They know, like, they're like, this is us. Like, we had our message and we said it and it's true. So fuck you if you want to steal it.
I feel like Ozzy's big like that in a way. He's not doing so well with Shannon. We're gonna be talking about that on my show tonight.
Like, what's the new Black Sabbath album? 13?
I liked it. I'm just happy Tony Iommi's still here to play. Tony Iommi is very sick.
Is he?
He's pancreatic cancer or something, or prostate.
Well, all those guys are getting up there in age. I mean, it's amazing they're still doing anything.
Because they sold their soul to the devil. Everyone Motley Crue's alive.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing to me that Tony Iommi is able to play guitar with like two and like actually it's like this, right? He had his three fingers.
It was he didn't get them cut off. He got the tips cut off when it was his last day
on a factory job, right?
It was the tips, and it was the tips of his index and his ring finger, and he melted down leather from like soda bottles, and then he like slides them on so he can play.
Wow.
So these are the fingers that he lost his tips of.
Yeah.
I can't do it, and I don't have the coordination. Anyways, metal nerds tonight at 9 p.m. right? 8
Yep,
p.m.?
myradiostream.com/metal nerds with a Z, not an S, with a Z.
Metal nerds.
We got last week's episode going up probably sometime tonight on Podbean and iTunes. So.
And Joe has a nice 6-person ensemble that goes on, and they have a nice editor, and they're very professional, and they talk about anal secretions and Marvel.
Really, really gay.
Nice.
Really gay. It's good. Alex, you're gonna call in today, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna call in. I think I'll call in during the Star Wars segment. And what's that guy's name? The guy that sits across from you. He always has like some.
You gotta see it, dude. We got a new setup. We moved to a bigger room. It's really nice.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
You're gonna be like, wow, this is great. We made it. We got some new mics. We really invested a lot of time. I couldn't even help.
His name is Randy. Randy, right? Randy is the guy that sits across from you.
Brian.
Right.
Brian Pomfrey.
Okay, we'll tell Ryan to go fuck himself, and I'll talk to him later.
He's cool, man. He's
cool. But I'm gonna tell him to go fuck himself, and then we'll have an argument.
Yeah, that's okay. You can do that. Yeah.
He loves to argue. That's why I say.
He's very passionate, though. He's a great fan. I could never. I'm very lucky to have him on. I'm lucky to have everybody on. I got really cool team, and we do this because we like to, and
because it feels good on our prostates. So.
I heard that does feel good if you stick your finger up your butt, or if you
apparently
put your ball underneath the bathtub as the water runs. Are you drinking Tang?
I'm actually drinking Port. This is Port in the Storm. Claudia Gray invented this alcoholic beverage, and she now offers it on her website.
Oh, so this is an actual recipe. I thought you were just calling it Port in the Storm.
Oh no, this is Port in the Storm. Which Port in the Storm is a think about Battlestar Galactica when they're sitting in or like Star Wars obviously when they're sitting in a very large hangar, the rebels right before a battle, right before they're about to die, and they don't know how to make alcohol, but they take some gasoline, right?
Yeah, I just rewatched the Battlestar Galactica remake. They made it's basically rocket fuel.
So when you are, this is the beautiful concept that you take this, your band of brothers, whatever, World War II, like desperate people, that are, living in a hangar, but you take it into Star Wars terms, and you're like, what are we gonna do to make way with the situation we're in? What they do is they take a little bit of the alcohol that is contained within their gasoline.
I gotta take this call, guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
And we take the gasoline and we mix it with some local, a little bit of spice from maybe the Carillion system. You take it and maybe. I don't know, maybe some characters from Bloodline, because this is all created from the Star Wars Bloodline novel created by Claudia Gray. And
So-
you combine it, and it's about 49%, which is about 92% proof. And cheers up.
So how does it taste? That's what I want to know.
It tastes like gasoline.
Okay, because the Important Storm, they
That's the goal.
talk about how bad it tastes.
Gasoline. This
Right.
tastes like gasoline.
Okay.
And I want to thank Claudia Gray. On Twitter, you can find her at Claudia Gray. Equally, I think a contributor to the creation of this fine beverage is Chuck Wendig. So at Chuck Wendig, he's the author of Aftermath. His new sequel to Aftermath, Life Debt, will be coming out in July.
July 12th, actually.
This is as Star Wars as it comes. He is the author of Han Solo's breakout, like pirate redemption of Kashyyyk, freeing all the slaves on Kashyyyk in Life Debt from pirates that drink port in the storm. So I want you to know that that's a very important element of this new Life Debt. In fact, I can guarantee you in the novel Life Debt, you're going to hear about port in the storm, which is maybe half gasoline and half spice, and this is the resulting item. So this is all Star Wars.
I can't wait for Life Debt, despite the all the hate of Chuck Wendig. I really can't wait for and I'm assuming that all the little side stories will be in there just like the first one. So
Exactly.
I really can't wait for that.
The people
I'm just
that
waiting.
hate it.
We're not going to get like Ben and Luke stories till after episode 9, I believe.
Yeah, probably not.
No, we're not. But we're going to get Han's story. And I sent this to both of you. There's a new little, like the first page, the opening credit to...
I have it. I've got a chapter. In the end of Bloodline, there's a chapter.
No. But there's just today, May 3rd, there's June 3rd.
June 3rd, yes.
Yeah, June 3rd. There is a new, like, one page that Chuck Wendig just tweeted.
Oh, really?
And you know what it says? He says Life Debt. Like who you credit the book to. He said this book goes out to all of the people who get a little tingling inside when Han Solo comes on the page or in the story.
Comes on the page.
Yeah. So Life
Debt definitely loves this book then.
Life Debt by Chuck Wendig is the ultimate Han Solo story, and anyone who discredits it will cry when they realize that they were wrong. For like prejudging, like, stories, you can't just give away everything right away. You have to have a setup,
Right.
a main story, and then a resolution. And so this is going to be the Han Solo's greatest story ever in Aftermath, Life Debt, I think.
I hope. I think by the end of the trilogy, I think Wendig will be redeemed. But my biggest problem with him, I think he tries to over describe things.
Well, I think the opposite. I think he is Twitter prose. He writes in common, 25-year-old male Twitter prose.
I think it's like present tense writing. It's very weird. It takes a minute to get used to. Once you do, though, the main story I wasn't that big on, but I think coming into the next one with this new with the Grand Admiral or whatever he is, I think that this is going to get very interesting. But for me, it's those interludes that really makes the Aftermath books interesting to me, and that's what makes me really excited for this new one.
But Chuck Wendig demanded something of us. He demanded us to think differently. He demanded us to think about. He said, "Hey, this is how you tell a Star Wars story, but this is 2015. It's 2016 now, and I'm going to tell a story not in 1993 when we had that amazing Heir to the Throne, Heir to the Empire story by Zahn. Zahn is amazing. Zahn is my god of 1993. But
Wasn't he like not invited back to write with the Lucas Story Group? There was some.
Because
He threw he
1993.
threw a fit, and yeah, I think he's after the fit he threw about the EU Legends thing. I kind of think but their whole thing
That's
is that
23 years
What is the
ago.
story behind that? Do you know it, Ed?
not directly. What do you mean with Zahn?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what happened, but I know they said that Star Wars is not about one author. It's about a lot of authors, and they're trying to get new authors in.
Mhm.
And with Zahn, after he kind of threw a fit, and
He
there's
worked
a lot
hard
of
for the
people.
longest time, dude. He
Right.
he wrote the original 7, 8, and
Well,
9.
I'm not saying he's wrong for being upset. I'm just saying that he kind of flipped out, and I think they took that the wrong way. And their whole thing is, like I said, they want to reach out to a lot of new authors and a lot of they don't want people seeing that all of Star Wars outside the movies is Zahn. They want it to be open to everyone and all types of different styles of writing, and you know what I mean. Which I don't think they should disclude Zahn. I think he should be in it too. I just like the idea of, because we seen with Claudia Gray. She's a completely new Star Wars author, and she's written two of the best Star Wars books I think ever already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And soon people will think that Chuck Wendig is the greatest Star Wars author ever. And I'll
Could
tell you
be.
why. I'll tell you why. Because 1993 was Zahn's era. He was of that generation and of that mindset. But now, Star Wars is in the hands of the new generation. And the new generation entails Twitter pros. It entails thinking in the way that people of this generation think. And it's very hard to conceptualize for many people, because if you're not in this mindset of today, you have to be, Chuck Wendig is, I guess, not progressive, but he's current. And the issue is that Claudia Gray is, she's very simple and recalling of the old way of writing Star Wars, and that is just as valuable. And it is, it's like nostalgia, and I love that. I think actually more than modern era writing, which is what Chuck Wendig is personifying.
Mm-hmm.
So Chuck Wendig is the new era of Star Wars writing, and that is actually the way that things are going. And it's hard to, your brains are like, no, that's not the way it should be. But the fact is, Chuck Wendig is personifying the actual way that novelizations are going to be for the future. And it's very, very hard to take in our minds. I didn't like it. I didn't want it at first. But then I started to think about how he wrote and why he wrote that way. And he wrote that way for us, for the young people, for people that are in this social media bullshit.
It's very in the moment, and it's short sentences. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that, but I guess it is directed towards people like that are used to these. What do you call that? Not correct English, not so much not correct English, but not correct writing. You know what I mean? Like very, like I said, short sentences, very jumpy. Just short and to the point.
It's about tiny pieces of data. So what used to happen, and also what's happening with Game of Thrones, which is a very, the books are very 80s writing, and what we're getting right now is they're saying, a sentence shouldn't be this long. A sentence should be this long, and it should not entail all these details about foreshadowing or referencing to the past. It should just be right now. That is what Chuck Wendig is writing. He's writing right now story.
Right. Have you ever read a book from, say, like the 1800s or something like that? You notice how different writing changes.
They didn't have audiobooks back there. No.
Oh my God, Charles Dickens. Oh my God, I've read whatever. I did maybe 8 classes in English or English literature back in college. I did AP back in high school, and I was sitting there oh my God, this is for people in the 1800s. This is not for me.
The writing, I guess, it just evolves so much, and it seems to be getting dumber and dumber. Because if you go back and read something from way back then, the writing is so complicated. Like, I don't know, it's hard to understand what they're saying. I guess, well, words evolve too, but like you're saying, our sentences are getting smaller, and the words are just getting less, more slang-like, I guess.
Well, it was Dumb and Dumber in 1990, which is in 1995, which is when we got the Dumb and Dumber movie. But now, 2015, it's Dumb and Dumber,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So we are past the point. So Dumb and Dumber was the period where heir to the Empire. The truth is that was a great story, but it was in fact a simplification of this whole concept of trying to really consolidate what the Star Wars universe was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck Wendig, I think he looked at that Zahn trilogy, and he's like, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna do it for like the 1995 version of the of the internet. I'm gonna do it for 2015 Twitter. This is the new updated. This is reality. This is how people think. And he was progressive. He was maybe too progressive. And that's why there was so much of an outlash. But I think that this Han Solo Twitter prose style novelization of Life Debt is going to be the thing that makes him famous. There's going to be nothing, like, people are going to look at this novel of Life Debt and be like, oh my God, we were wrong about Chuck Wendig. He is the guy.
There's still going to be some holdouts, like the same type of people we're talking about with the bias, but you know what? I have an unpopular opinion about Zahn and Heir to the Empire. I honestly think it's highly overrated. I think at the time it came out, it was
right now.
Great. We loved it. At this time, right now, I think people are looking back with rose-colored glasses, thinking it's like it was the greatest thing ever. But I don't think it holds up the same. Like I said, at the time it came out, yeah, it was what we had, and it was great at the time. But looking back now, I feel like people cling to it as if it's the greatest thing ever, when a lot of people that cling to it haven't even read it. Some of the people I talk to online, they're like praising it as the greatest thing ever, and then I find out they don't even know what it is.
Who is Paleon? Paleon who?
But like I said, at the time, it was one of the greatest things, and I look back with nostalgia too. But I look at it objectively, and I don't think it stands up, and I think it is a little overrated. And there's a lot of people saying that should be Episode 7. I really don't think it should be. And honestly, it couldn't be at this time because Luke's too old, and there's a lot of reasons it can't be Episode 7 at this point. Anyway, I just wanted to throw my unpopular opinion out there.
And every opinion is equally valid, because we're not dealing in a world of reality. We're dealing in a world of, Star Wars is a matter of opinion. And opinion can influence what comes out in the movies, in the books, in the comics.
They better not just turn Episode 8 to fucking Twilight, where vampires don't sparkle, they burn.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, Joe, close this off. Joe, tell us what you think about this whole, is Zahn's Thrawn... When you hear about Thrawn, do you not think that is an early 90s version of trying to modernize Star Wars? Do you not think now that Claudia Gray and that Chuck Wendig are trying to modernize Star Wars?
Modernize? Yeah.
No. Modernize.
That's the Wendig version, I guess.
I never really thought of Star Wars as something that needs to be modernized. I've always thought of it as like a different. I thought of it through the eyes of the people from the galaxy far, far away. That, yeah, we want to connect to the characters and stuff. I connect to fucking Kylo Ren really creepily, which is weird, but I mean,
I do too.
it's at the same time, I never really thought of it like that. I thought of it more like at that time period, that's what was happening. I mean, like, yeah, like pop culture is going to influence everything. At the same time, I can read a Thrawn book right now, and I wouldn't even connect it to the '90s or the '80s. I would just think of it as a Star Wars story from back in the day. But now that none of that they erased all that, I don't blame them for being upset. I think that he could be a very good asset. And if Disney can swallow their pride, or maybe if Timothy Zahn can swallow his pride, go back, be like, all right, maybe we got the wrong foot. We find reasonable understanding. Maybe that they can work out something where it's like, all right, come back, write for us again. But it does, one thing I learned from a very wise friend of mine is always be nice to everybody and never burn your bridges. You never know who you're talking to. So, I mean, did Timothy Zahn have a right to get angry? Would he be upset? Would you be upset in his situation? Yeah, but like freaking out about it isn't gonna help anything. But he obviously had a very powerful passion for it. Pablo Hidalgo even said in that tweet, like, he got excited. It's like, oh, we're gonna redo the EU, and then Disney said, no, we're gonna just erase all that and start over. I was really upset by that when I heard about that the first time. I was like, you mean I read books for no reason? I hate books, like. But at the same time, I mean, it kind of like it conserves it in a way. It like, it I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It it holds it. It makes it a legacy now. It makes it it conserves it. It makes it able to grow. It's something new. I remember when episode 7 was first announced, in the early 2013, people were writing who's gonna play Jason Solo. I was hoping to God that would be his name. I was excited to see the Solo twins. I was excited to see Ben Skywalker, but Disney just with a swoop, whoosh, that's all gone, and I'm upset about that. Those were great stories.
I have to disagree here.
Please do. Fight him, Edward.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Reading the EU was my life for years and years. But reading these books, never once did I ever think in any way, shape, or form that any of those books had any bearing on the main story, or if there ever would be any films. And
that's what we had. That's what
George Lucas always said, that the EU was not reflective of the universe that
and we saw proof of that when the prequels were made, because certain things were ignored, certain things were taken in, like Coruscant, but it was originally Coruscant, but he used it as Coruscant. But anyway, most of that stuff was ignored, and because it never really was part of the same continuity. So if you look at it, if you're looking at it like it was being destroyed, I don't think that that's a fair assumption. In my view, nothing. It's in the same place as it always was, but now we are actually finally getting official books. That's how I see it. I see those books are just the same as they always, but always were. But now we are getting
characters. Do you miss Kyle Katarn?
There's a lot of great characters, but I don't think
Ron, fucking that Wookiee dude. Not Chewbacca. Chewbacca's grandpa. I mean, I'm just kidding about that, but Disney. Did you really want to see those characters not be a part of the canon anymore? Did you really want to see them wiped out? Are there things that you wanted to stay? And
that's the thing. They never really were part of that continuity. There's a lot of characters that I would like to see brought in. Some of them, but there's a hell of a lot more that I do not.
Like Revan, you guys want to obviously see Revan, right?
I honestly don't care about Revan.
All right, whatever.
But no, first off, Revan has nothing to do with George's. So George's idea
helped write Bane, and George Lucas was cool and greenlighted Revan.
Yes,
so,
he did. And so
yeah, but he also wanted Darth Talon to be Darth Maul's friend.
Yeah. That sucks. It's like people are coming up with these characters for the universe. They're friends. It's like, and yeah. I read the art. I read I think it was in Game Informer. I read the article, and they said the one thing you don't tell George Lucas is no, because you won't have a job anymore in Star Wars. It was really sad because he would just cut them off. They're friends, but yet they had this whole backstory, and he didn't even want to hear it. And that was the problem with George Lucas. He was too selfish with his universe, but yet he gave people the okay to write in his universe.
He's very indecisive about it. He changes his mind about things. You know what I mean? He'd contradict himself on a lot. He had a lot of faults. I will say that.
He is a human. Every human has faults.
Every human
every human needs to have outside people. Here's the thing. So when you have a sci-fi universe, one person creates that sci-fi universe, and only one person can make the basic tenets of that sci-fi universe. But then after that, that creator, his perception upon those creations can be tainted, can be absolutely diluted. So you need a council, a story group, a group of people that are like, hey, this is actually what he wanted. This is, when I look back at the very first things, the very first, the Journal of the Wills, the this, the that, the things that they base their reality on is what George Lucas, it is literally the very first church of the Catholics. It is the very first church of Jesus. It is the same thing. George created this Bible, this, the teachings of Jesus. George Lucas did that. And George Lucas, no, really, I'm dead serious. George Lucas created that basic tenet, and only a council can actually embody the purest of his intentions through these new movies. Because Rogue One is not a story.
Called Disney white slavers, dude.
Exactly.
That's why I think that the story group is a much better holder of the Star Wars universe than Lucas is at this point. I think
Lucas is a nut job at this point.
He stopped caring about Star Wars a long time ago by his own admission. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Seriously, think about Caesar. Caesar was in rule for 15 years, and after that 15 years, he went fucking crazy. He was like, really. Julius Caesar was oh God, I'm gonna take this Queen Cleopatra as my queen. What a fucking nut job! Who does that? That's number 9 of me saying the F word. And seriously, he was a nut job. You cannot take a person with a great vision that has great, imagination in the beginning, and believe that 30 years later he will know what is sane. Humans are humans. Humans don't have the capacity to stay sane for 30 years after becoming geniuses.
Hey, I love the man for what he's done in the past, but I just want to keep him as far away as I can from my Star Wars.
So a council, a story group is the best, because Rogue One was never in any intention George Lucas's story.
Right.
Rogue One is the A-bomb. Rogue One is a prototype. Rogue One is an experiment to see how Star Wars will react to these standalone movies.
And so, not one person can personify what George Lucas intended. Only through a council, through not executives, but through the story group, through Gareth Edwards' intentions with the through the council of the story group, can he actually embody what George Lucas would have wanted for this, this prequel story of what Rogue One would be. And that's how I end it. That's it. That's at the end.
All right, we're gonna get started. We have our pan already pre-greased. No, hold on. Now our pan is ready and greased and ready to go.